We've seen hundreds and hundreds of these episodes of large-scale black mob violence at malls all over the country. We've documented how the reporters and public officials, they show up at the mall. At first they try to minimize, marginalize, deny, condone, excuse, and even encourage what's going on. But then after a day or two or three, people at the mall, people on social media look around and go, "Hey, what the hell just happened in our mall?" That was a huge episode of violence. There was all a bunch of black people. What is that all about? Over time, that accumulates. Over time, the local media and public officials, they keep pushing this story of denial, deceit, and delusion into our face. And over time, more and more people are figuring it out that this is part of the greatest lie of our century. I mean, what was it, a couple weeks ago, that just a few miles away from this mall, just a few miles across the state line and from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, they had two fellas in a Starbucks. They didn't want to buy anything, but they wanted to use the bathroom. They wanted to sit there. They've refused 3 polite requests from people who work at Starbucks to leave. They refused 3 polite requests from police officers to leave. And this was a national story. The national story of white racism always picking on black people. Yet here we go, just a few weeks later, just a few miles away, down near Atlantic City, New Jersey. I've been to this mall many times. I kind of stop there on the way to Atlantic City when I visit there. But here we go. We've got hundreds and hundreds of black people rampaging through the mall, and everybody sitting here pretending that the fact that everybody is black is either a coincidence or doesn't make any difference, or Colin, why are you so darn worried about it? Lots and lots of people around the country now are looking at this. They're kind of going through stages. And the stage a lot of people are in now is like they might not be ready to speak out, but they're definitely ready to learn more about this denial, deceit, and delusion that encourages so much violence in places like the Hamilton Mall in South New Jersey.
It was just chaos, insane. I have never in my life had seen something like that.
Right now at 11, a massive brawl breaks out inside a South Jersey mall. Good evening, I'm Denise Nakano. It was a fight police say was advertised on social media. 8 people were arrested last night in the brawl that forced the Hamilton Mall and Mays Landing to shut down. And as NBC 10's Sydney Long reports, some shoppers say they are not going back anytime soon.
One mom told me her 13 and 16-year-old kids who were shopping became separated during this fight. She says they will never patron this mall again.
It was just chaos, insane.
Pinned against the glass at Forever 21, John Snyder says he couldn't believe his eyes watching teenagers, nearly 200 of them, in a major mall brawl. Some of it captured on this cell phone video.
You didn't really see someone pick up a chair. You just seen the chairs.
He held on to his 4 and 5-year-olds, a son and daughter.
I didn't want to let go of them. I was holding them tight.
Watching as the teens shoved their way up the escalator.
Kids were running up the down to get to this fight.
He says police were outnumbered.
There was pepper spray used to, control the situation because it was, I don't know what else they would have done.
But managed to bring the disturbance under control. In all, 8 teenagers arrested.
One of the kids, the cops did what they had to do, got him arrested, and a little bit of blood came out, and it made the kids go even more.
Once escorted by police to the mall exit,
kids were getting jumped in the food area.
Snyder posted the massive police response to Facebook Live. Tonight, a much calmer food court.
We're grateful that not more people were hurt.
And the Maturano family of Hamilton says it didn't change their plans.
We come shopping here a lot, and I just didn't want to let fear drive us.
The mall does not limit the number of teens allowed in the mall at once or require parental supervision, but its zero-tolerance policy of no fighting, no threats, or obscenities to cause a disturbance is clearly marked at every entrance.
I'm worried for my daughter because, when she comes here with her friends or her boyfriend or whatever, I'm always kind of like, hey, just be aware of your surroundings and just don't get involved.
One police supervisor was assaulted during the chaos, but no one else seriously injured, and police are still asking witnesses to come forward as they say this investigation is ongoing and there could be more arrests.
Say no. We my nigga Pop, you dig? That way. We my young boy. That way. Are we going upstairs now?
The people who live near the mall know what's happening. Despite the crazy, stupid advice the father was giving to his daughter. Oh, be aware. Keep your head on a swivel. That will help you survive this episode of large-scale black mob violence. Not quite sure how people become so aggressively stupid when it comes to the health and safety of their family, but we see it a lot. Other people who are commenting on this story in the local media, they are telling the truth about it. Oh yeah, this happens a lot in that mall. This happens a lot in other malls. But if you read the headlines, or if you just read the first paragraph or two, which is what 70-80% of people who consume this media, what they do, all you're hearing about is, well, it was just a little fight and 7 people were arrested. So that means there were only 7 people fighting. Well, that's not a big deal because, Colin, weren't you a kid once? Didn't you get into a little trouble once? What about Johnny, Mary, Joey, Janie, and Jimmy when you went out and all 7 of you guys got in some trouble? Colin, it's only 7 kids. No, the correct headline on this story is that large-scale episode of black mob violence strikes another mall in South Jersey. That's what happened. That's what the newspapers and TV don't want to tell us happened. That's what a whole heck of a lot of people know what happened. And one of these days, and I think it's going to be sooner rather than later, they're going to start speaking out about it, even if it does make the black kids angry.